If your adult child needs a safe space to avoid offensive words, you failed as a fucking parent. If anything in my seminar offends you, blame your parents for raising a pussy.
Bought a bike, and now we're gonna play with my new toy. How about this? All battery powered. We'll add some wash and wax to the mix. Like so. Oop. What's going on, guys? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. It is absolutely free. It costs you nothing. Please, I'm helping you guys. You can help me. Literally, it's that simple. Just push the subscribe button, hit the like button. I mean, I'm making these videos for you guys. They're not for me. You know what I'm saying? Just scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's an awesome deal. All right, guys. I have this 2015 Suzuki Boulevard C50T, and I bought this today. And the guy told me basically that it just stopped running and the FI light came on. So the fault indication light came on. Now, when I went to look at this bike today and he tried to turn it over in front of me, I noticed one major issue going on here. There was gas spewing down the side of this engine block all the way down the drive case. I want to prime this tank and see if I can see where the leak is coming from.
Where on this side?
It should be right down there by the... Oh. You see it? Go ahead. Right. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, wait. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, one more time.
Turn it off and on again?
Yeah.
Didn't do anything.
Okay, so it did prime. That leaked out way the hell down here. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. Huh.
Oh, shit.
What's that?
At my leg. That's going numb.
Oh. You do it one more time? So it's just steady running out the bottom of this thing. All right. That's good. Thank you. So, I don't know if he noticed it, but I certainly did. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take this tank off because I'm going to go ahead and guess this is not getting fuel. With the amount of gas that was coming out the side of this, I'm thinking we might have lost an O-ring either in the fuel injection side of things and it's just pouring out now, or for whatever reason, the tank or a fuel line has burst or it came disconnected. I have no idea. But we're going to take the rear seat off, then we're going to take this seat off. So I've got my Allen wrenches here to remove the rear seat. It is a size 6 Allen, so we're going to do this together. I don't know if this bike's been taken apart before. I couldn't tell you. What I do know is I now currently own this bike, so it is my bike. I can do what I want. So today we're going to take it apart, and I've had a couple of these bikes now in my past, so I'm very familiar with these engines. And seems like every one of these that I end up picking up from somebody ends up having some problems. So you're also going to need to remove this bracket here. The rear seat went underneath. That is also a 5. Wow, that was very loose. This one was also pretty loose. Looks like vibrations have gotten the best of these. So we're going to remove this rear bracket once again with a size 6. If I said 5, I apologize. These are size 6 Allen head keys. We'll take this off. There we go. That will allow me to remove the seat. And there's that. All right, so let me slide these bolts back into where they go so that it's not confusing. If you put them back, you don't have to search for them. I don't know why he has this on a battery tender. I'm not sure the battery tender is necessary per se, but I just cleaned this entire bike. I washed it, so I really don't want to turn the key on again, because all that's going to do is blast the gas right out all over the freshly washed bike. So we're not going to do that. And it looks like I've got maybe a 12 here to take this off. So there's that. Keep all this together. I set it just like that. Alrighty, sorry I had the neighborhood kids stop by, see what was going on. Now, if I remember correctly, these, well, that wasn't on there very tight, was it? Let's see if I can grab this by hand and undo this. Ugh. I believe the rubber grommets are missing. Yes, they are. The tank grommets are missing. All right. Yeah. There we go. All right, there's that. Let's see if we can. There should be 3 wires. 1 gas line and 3 wires. If I can get these out of here. Yeah, there's that one. And then there should be one up near the front. Okay, well, let's disconnect it again. Take this off. And for now, we'll just lay that right there. How about that? I won't even go any further with that. This should just disconnect now. Okay. Well, that would definitely be why. That's a problem. Uh-huh. Oh boy, that is problematic for sure, for sure. So, this is not being held tight, which is causing this entire system here to leak, which is also disconnected. This isn't even on there. So, let me show you guys what happened here. And the most frustrating part about this is I know now that they knew that this was a problem, because this was snapped off by somebody recently. So that's a little frustrating. Let me show you what's going on here. So if you look right here, there's no bolt because it snapped off inside of the throttle body. So there's nothing holding the fuel injector connector together. So what's happening is it's parting right here, and then it's just spewing fuel right out of there. So that would be why there's fuel all down the left side of the bike, because, and I don't know how people do that. I really don't know how people do that. But yeah, they definitely did a number right there. So boy, that sucks, because that throttle body is not gonna be cheap. I'm wondering if I'll try to back that out. That's gonna be a real pain to back that out, because obviously it's stuck. I might have a better luck drilling it and then tapping into it with another screw and tightening down into it. So I might just go that route to reattach this. But what I am gonna do before I do any of that is pull all this apart and replace all of the O-rings, because if I'm going to do this, it needs to be done properly. And I can see that raw fuel has been getting back here as well. I think, no, that's not fuel on there. It's just dirty. Okay, so my real issue is going to be right here. This is just spewing. If I put the key in right now, it's pretty sure I would see gas dribble all the way down this whole entire thing. I may have to reconnect the tank just to watch that happen so I can see exactly where it's coming from. So let me set the tank up and reattach it, and then I'm going to turn the key on one time and see if I can figure out where this fuel is coming from, and then I'll go back and show you guys where the leak is coming from. So I was correct. There were 2 broken O-rings inside the half tube, and of course I tried to drill that out with the neighbor, and we were unable to do that. So what I did is I locked that one down real tight, and then I took a zip cord, a zip tie, and I put it around the throttle plate. It won't affect anything that's going on here at all. It just connects to the elbow, and that sucks it down really, really tight down to where it should be, so this can't budge at all. So it's just like having a bolt in there. It's unfortunate they stripped that out, but hey, what can you do? Somebody did it, so now it's a lot less noticeable. But I also tightened this down because this was loose. It should run now. So we're going to reattach everything. My money, as long as I don't have any more leaks, which I'll have to look for, my money is on this thing should start up. So before we lose all the sunlight, because it's getting dark fast, let's see if I can slap the tank back on here and see if we can get this puppy fired up. So we had a broken O-ring on this end of the half tube that goes through, and a broken O-ring on the one that connects back here. So of course it was just spewing fuel, and that's because all this was able to move around because there was only one bolt on that side. Now that this is locked in tight, we should be good to go. So everything should be connected. I'm gonna look for fuel leaks now, guys. So let me grab my flashlight. I'm going to turn the key on a couple times and look for some fuel leaks. See if I solve my problem here. Prime it once. Prime it again. Let it sit for a sec. Then we'll prime it again. Let's go see if I'm leaking. I do not see any fuel coming down. No fresh fuel, so I'm pretty sure that I fixed that problem. So I'm going to prime it one more time while I'm on the side and have a look just to be positive about that. Yep, nope. I do not have any fuel leaking, so I'm pretty sure we solved the leak problem. C17 air pressure sensor, number 1. Number 2, number 1. That's what the code is telling me. So after fixing the fuel leaks, it still didn't want to start, and it was throwing a check code, which I'll show you guys how to check that using this down here. I'll show you how to put this in dealer mode so you can pull your codes. And well, I noticed that this had some cracks in it, this line, so I went ahead and cut off the end of it, But if anybody was wondering why this wouldn't start, I'd be more than happy to show them, because if you look at this connector, that one is all the way on there. See? But what's the problem with this one? It wasn't on there. So I kept putting this engine in dealer mode because it was reading that it had a fault indication code, well as a fuel leak, obviously. But I think what really shut everything down and caused somebody to start this whole endeavor of thinking that the fuel system was initially the problem, so it got torn apart, and then a bunch of the O-rings got busted, and then it was thrown back together. That being said, the whole entire problem was that this wasn't plugged in. So now that I've got that plugged in, I'm going to reseat this better. Now that I've cut a portion of it off, there we go. Make sure that one is connected how it should. That looks good on the bottom. Now I should be able to throw the fuel tank back on this. However, before I do that, I'm going to get all the old fuel out of this because it smells bad. And so I'm going to take the fuel out of this tank and replace it with fresh fuel, and then I'm pretty sure this thing's going to fire up. So fuel system's been solved, and the check engine light has now been solved. The first thing you need to do, because this will say F1 or FI, which is a fault indication light on here. If the fault, right there you can see, the fault indication light is on. It doesn't instantly mean fuel injection. It's just a FI light, which is fault indicator light. It means there's a whole bunch of sensors and things that it's measuring, and one of those has a problem. So it's going to say FI light, and then the bike might not start. It goes into limp mode or some kind of factory mode until you bring it to a shop. Well, I'm going to teach you how to access dealer mode. So there's a panel normally right here. There's one little Allen bolt. You pull that off, and somebody might have already removed this on yours or not. You'll find this little white connector down here, and sometimes there's a cap on it. Yours might have already been removed and it's lost. Take a paper clip, go through the first 2 tongs right there and bridge that connection. You guys can see that. Bridge that connection, and then it puts the bike in dealer mode. So what you do is you turn the bike on, and as soon as you turn it on, you'll notice that your FI light went from an FI light to a check light. And across the screen down here, it'll give you a code. Maybe you have multiple codes. You need to write them down. They'll keep sequencing the codes. So in this case, it was like a negative C17, which is in fact just a C17 code. So what I'm going to do is share what the codes mean right here in the side of the screen. So if you need to pause this and take a screenshot for yourself, now you know what all these codes mean, and you know how to access dealer mode from your Suzuki Volusia Boulevard or your Bully, whichever Bully you have, M109, so on and so forth. You now have the ability to check on all that stuff yourself at your house. When you're done with dealer mode, just pull the paper clip. If you have your cap, put it back on there because it'll keep the contacts from corroding. Just remember in the future that this is how you access dealer mode. I guess so basically all I did was crack these loose using a 5, and I don't need to take this all the way off, just enough that I can open the bottom of this and let the gas drain out. So we're going to back all these out a little bit. I'm going to pull this away like so, and that should allow the gas to drain out without completely removing these. So we're just going to sink these a little bit more. I think this one needs to come out just a tad. There we go. Well, I didn't show all that work, guys, but somebody put stable in there, so all the little plastic connectors inside the gas tank were brittle and breaking. Here's the fuel line that was in there. As you can see, that's just crumpling underneath my fingertips, splitting, so I had to replace all that. So here's part of the new line I put on there. It's part of the old line. So yeah, and then of course I still have to get a filter for it, and I had to drastically clean the interior of the tank because all this little plastic crap was all broken off the wires from the stable chewing through it chemically. And so I had to completely clean the tank until there was nothing in there at all. So now I'm going to put it back on, start it up for the first time, and something tells me this thing's going to fire right up. Hopefully I don't have to clean the injectors, because that would just be a whole nother thing I don't want to have to do. But let me throw the tank on here. We'll add some fresh fuel and see what it does. Should have proper pressure now. And by the way, the fuel pressure sending unit that was on the tank was completely disconnected. So that's what that line was going to. So it wasn't actually a fuel line. It was a fuel pressure sending unit pressure line. And unfortunately that was just absolutely cooked. So I don't think this thing's been getting proper pressure for a while with a disconnected line. Right? Right. So let me throw the tank back on here and see if it fires up. Got about a half gallon of fresh fuel here. Now that I know the tank is good, I'm gonna go ahead and just pop this off. Lay that right there. Take my finger and get any little debris in here out that I can. And let's go ahead and insert some fuel in this guy here. Fresh fuel, baby. I'm gonna save a little bit of this because I got a scooter over there I want to top off. But we should have enough fuel now to start it up and see what it does. I charged the battery last night, so should have a full charge. My check engine light should not be on anymore. We're going to check that here in a second. I'm going to just lay this up here for now. So let me prime this, make sure there's no leaks. All right, so check engine lights are all off. However, the fuel injectors need to be cleaned, but here it is running after God knows how long. So it's 100% running. There's no check engine lights on. What's happening though is the fuel injectors are so absolutely clogged that it's not going to run until I pull the fuel injectors and give them a thorough cleaning. So that's unfortunately what I'm going to have to do right after I put it all back together. After seeing the tank, I realized that this thing was going to need a lot of fuel work, but no leaks anymore. I got it up and running. There's no check engine light. So from this point moving forward, it's basically just clean the fuel injector. So I'll get my fuel injector cleaning kit out. I'll rip this entire system down, which I'm not looking forward to doing, but I'm going to do because I don't really have a choice if I want this thing to function correctly. So yes, it runs. Yay. We're at the last little portion of making this bike run properly here. So